Hi, welcome back. Today I've got an uplifting upper back and shoulder flossing practice for you. So we're going to be opening up the front of the chest and relieving tension around the back of the shoulder blades and loosening up any tightness in those shoulder joints. Uplifting? Why? Well, in yoga therapy, this area of the chest and upper back that we're going to be working with today is very strongly related to how we feel in terms of our energy and the brightness of that energy. So if you think about how somebody who's feeling down in the dumps, what their posture might be like, they're generally quite slumped forward. You picture shoulders rolled in. And then think of somebody who's feeling on top of the world. They're up here, aren't they? They're out and expansive. And it's that shift in energy that's got the mind-body connection. When we have a posture that's sort of caved in and closed on itself, we're feeling low in energy. It has a knock-on effect on our mental state. When we open all of that up, we tend to feel brighter. You're going to need a couple of props today. So a cushion, just an ordinary cushion off your sofa or something, and a strap. Now, I quite like these stretchy TheraBand straps, but anything will do. You know, your dressing gown belt is absolutely fine. Just something that you can get your hands kind of yay wide on. As always, listen to your body. If something doesn't feel right when you're practicing, please just modify accordingly. Your body is the real teacher. So if I suggest something that doesn't feel good in your body, change it, back off from it, don't do it. Whatever works for you, it's your practice. The postures are there to serve you, not the other way around. Let's get started. We're going to begin in child's pose. So we're going to take an extended child's pose. So with toes together, knees apart. And we're going to just walk, hands forward, out long, and bow your chest down towards the mat, perhaps resting on your forehead. And give yourself a few moments to just arrive here. Taking a moment to honour the fact that you are making this time for yourself, for your practice. And so let this period of time be about your practice, be about reconnecting with yourself. Whatever was going on before, whatever might be happening afterwards, park it for now. It'll still be there when you leave the mat, but this time is for you. Let your breath start to become slower and fuller. And feel how your inhales massage into the back of your rib cage. Feel your belly ballooning gently out against your thighs. And let the exhales soften you down towards the mat. Let's take a few breaths here. And then on your next inhale, rise up to all fours and bring your knees underneath your hips. I'm going to keep your hips where they are and walk your hands forwards. So we're going to come into Anahatasana, melting heart pose or puppy pose. And we're going to bow the chest down towards the mat. Keep your hips high, and again, you might drop your head to your forehead, to the mat. I'm feeling that stretch in the armpits and along the side of the ribs. And finding that smooth, steady breath in this posture. And then lift your chest from the mat. Slide your hands back in about 1 hand length. Keep your left hand where it is, and we're going to slide the right hand underneath the left armpit and rest down onto the outer strip of that right arm and rest your temple on your mat, right temple. Now this may be plenty, you may choose to stay here. If you want to work a little more deeply, you may start to extend that left foot out towards the right hand. It doesn't matter if it reaches the hand or not. And then if you want to work a little bit more deeply still, you can start to reach that left arm up to the sky and start to roll a little bit further onto the outside of that right shoulder. And taking it into as much of a backward lean as feels appropriate for your body. And on your next exhale, I'm going to bring that raised arm back to the mat if you've come up. If you've taken the leg out, I'm going to slide that back in. And we're going to reverse out of here. So, pressing into the left hand, drag the right hand back to the start position, and let's take it to the other side. So we're sliding the left hand underneath right armpit, resting down onto that left cheekbone, left temple, and assessing the situation here. This side might feel very different. And then you've got the option to add the right foot out towards the left hand, and perhaps to reach the right arm up to the sky, opening up like the pages of a book. And stopping with whichever version feels right for you. And exhale, return that right hand to the mat if you've taken it up. Slide the leg back in if you've taken that option. And let's return to all fours. Then from here, keep your hands where they are and just walk your knees back a little bit so that you can bend your elbows, hug your elbows to the waist, and come all the way down onto your belly. And then bring your forearms flat onto the mat. Elbows slightly forward of your shoulder, so we're in Sphinx pose. Spread your fingers wide and then lift your right leg slightly and just see if you can make your leg go a few inches longer. Reach it back, set it down. Let's do the same with the left leg, getting really long. And then slightly tilt your pubic bone into the mat so you feel that slight lift of the lower belly away from the mat. And then from here, we're going to isometrically drag the forearms back towards the waist. So isometrically means we're going to make as if we're going to drag the arms back, but the arms aren't actually going to move. We're just going to use that gripping on the mat to lift the chest through that gateway of the upper arms. If you feel any pressure in your lower back here, take your feet a little bit wider. Looking straight ahead. Lifting the heart through the arms and feeling that nice flossing between the shoulder blades. If this feels like plenty in your back, you're going to stay with this option. If you want to work into a slightly deeper back bend, you're going to pull your hands back towards you slightly and take them out a little bit at 10 to 2 and press into the hands and slowly start to lift your elbows away from the mat. And just going as far as feels comfortable. You might feel fine going to straight arms, you might stay lower down. Keep your pubic bone pressing slightly into the mat, so you're not pitching into the lower back. And then whichever option you're in, we're going to turn as we exhale to look over the right shoulder. I'm just feeling that nice little twist in the ribs. Inhale back to centre, look forwards. And exhale, turning it over the left shoulder. Let's do that one more time each side. Inhale, centre. Exhale, turning to the right. Inhale, centre. Exhale, turning to the left. Inhale, come back to centre, and slowly lower down. Now, from here, you're going to keep your right hand where it is and reach your left arm out long, so the hand is flat on the mat. I'm going to press into the right hand. You may like to bring your pillow actually underneath your head here, just so you've got some support. So turn to rest your left cheek on the pillow so that you're looking towards your right hand. And from here, I'm going to press into that right hand and start to roll onto your left side. Go really slowly and be really mindful about what we're feeling in the left shoulder. And then draw your knees up to a fetal position and just scoot your hips a little bit more forwards towards that right hand. Now, this might be enough. If you've got a little bit more space, you want to work a bit deeper, you might start to lift that right knee towards the sky and plant the right foot on the mat behind the left foot. And you'll probably start to feel some quite strong sensation in the front of that left shoulder. So just go gingerly, find your edge where you've got a nice amount of sensation, but there's no unpleasant discomfort. And breathe. One more of those lovely smooth, slow breaths here. And then if you've got the right foot planted on the mat, bring the knees back together. I'm going to back out of this really slowly. Start to straighten the legs and slowly roll back onto your belly. And drag that left hand in, and we'll take it to the other side. So I'm just going to scoot over on my mat a little bit, and I'm going to take right arm out long and plant your right cheek onto the cushion. Left hand on the mat, and we start to press into that left hand and roll onto the right side of the body. Wriggle the knees up, scoot your hips a little bit forward, and see how that feels. Now this is a tighter side for me, so I'm going to go just really carefully. Maybe start to lift that left knee up to the sky and plant it behind that right foot. And yeah, I'm going to go a little bit more gently on this side. I haven't got quite as much range of motion today in that right shoulder head. And settling in. finding your breath. One more. And then slowly start to bring the knees back together if you've taken that left knee up. Straighten the legs and roll back onto the belly, nice and slowly. No sudden movements. And slide that right hand back in. Push your cushion out of the way if you've used that for your head. We've opened up the front of the shoulders. Now we're going to go into the back of the shoulders. So from our Sphinx pose, you're going to wriggle that right arm underneath the left shoulder, and then we're going to cross the left arm over. So we're in this crossed shape, left arm in front of the right. So we've got the right hand reaching to the left, left hand reaching over to the right. And again, explore what feels like a good level of sensation for you. You might not get much cross at all, and that feels like plenty, so you stay there. You might be able to wriggle your hands a little bit further out, and perhaps rest your chin down on your left bicep. It's quite an intense stretch across the delts, across the backs of the shoulders. So having found the comfortable edge, can you settle in? Can you simply be with the sensation, with your breath? Let's take a couple more breaths here. Now again, no sudden movements. We're going to creepy crawl our way back to centre, like you're moving through treacle. Really gently, really slowly. And then when your forearms are one in front of the other, just going to bring the right forearm in front. And so we're going to walk them out the other way. So now we've got the right shoulder in front of the left. And again, this might feel different. So explore. And when you've reached what feels like a sensible place for your body to be today, settle in. We want to find this place of being in a steady, comfortable pose. Stiram Sugam Asanam is the Yoga Sutra's determination of the right place to be inhabiting any yoga posture. And actually, the deeper seat within ourselves, the inner self, steady, comfortable seat within yourself. That jewel in the lotus of our yoga practice. Finding that place of stillness within, that place of home. Let's moving through treacle, back our way out of this pose now. And hands underneath your shoulder heads. Ooh, roll shoulders up, back and down, hugging the shoulder blades onto your upper back and just using your hands to gently pull your chest forward into a little baby cobra. So we're just feeling those muscles of the upper back working a little bit. And then soften down, exhaling forehead to the mat. Inhale, press up to all fours. And exhale, let's take it back to a balasana, a child's pose. This time let's bring the knees together and take the arms alongside your body, forehead to the mat. And just let your shoulders completely melt down either side of your knees here. Take a deep inhale and sigh it out. And then let's come up to a kneeling position. Now, if you're comfortable kneeling, that's great. If it's not such a good place for your knees, you might like to try bringing your cushion onto your calves and sitting back onto the cushion, and that just takes a little bit of that deep fold out of your knees. So whatever works for you. And then we're going to grab our straps. I'm just going to turn to face you. Now take your strap and have your hands wider than shoulders. Come away from the wall a little bit there. And let's just have a little test out. What we want to be able to do is to be able to go all the way up and all the way back. So you'll soon know if your hands are too close together. So find a good spot for them to be. And then just take hands out in front. I'm going to inhale, reach up, exhale, take the hands behind and all the way down to hip height, and reverse. Inhale up, exhale down, letting the belly be soft. Inhale up, feeling belly and ribs expand. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. If you're feeling that you could take a little bit more sensation, just wriggle your hands in half an inch. Let's do a couple more. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Your breath, your pace for this last one. Lovely. Now let's keep hold of the strap, and I'm going to turn so that you can see a little bit more clearly. I'm going to keep the strap in the right hand and take your right arm up alongside your ear and bend the elbow so that the strap's dangling behind you. Now immediately what you're probably going to want to do is puff your ribs out. See if you can draw those lower ribs back in. So we're closing the gap slightly between lower belly, between lower ribs and the top of your pelvic bowl. And then take your left arm out and turn your thumb down. So we're finding that internal rotation of the shoulder. And then reach the left arm down towards the mat and wriggle it up as you bend the elbow behind you to see if you can find the strap. Now that may be plenty, you may stay there, or you may find that actually you can interlink your fingers. Now notice what's happened in your chest. Have you puffed out? Can you draw those lower ribs in again? And then you're going to find that that probably brings that right elbow forwards. So can you keep that drawing in of the lower ribs and then lift that right elbow up to the sky a bit more? And there it is, that opening. Stay for a few breaths. You might close your eyes down. And then release the grip of the strap or of your fingers. And release the pose. Let's take this strap, if you're using it, into your left hand. Left hand reaches up to the sky. And bend the elbow. And then right arm out wide, thumb down, so we're finding that internal rotation of the shoulder joint and reaching it down, bending the elbow up behind you, and see what you can find on this side. Draw the lower ribs in and then lift that left elbow. You feel your breath in that upper portion of your ribs. So it's like your pectoral muscles are moving up and out in a 10 to 2 motion up towards your shoulders. And then release the strap. And set that off to the side. Now let's release the back of the shoulders now. So arms out in front, shoulder height. We're going to cross the right arm over the left as high up your upper arms as you can. It may just be that they arrive at the elbows. Wherever they arrive is fine. And then bend both your elbows so that your backs of your hands come towards each other. Now that may be plenty, or it may be that you can reach that left hand around to take the inner right wrist. And then from here, we're going to start to lift the elbows, roll the top of the shoulders back and down, and then press your hands away from your face. It's the arm section of Eagle Pose, Garudasana. Lifting the elbows, pressing the hands away for one more breath. And then release, unravel, arms out in front again. Cross left arm over right, bend the elbows, and wherever your hands arrive, you may be able to reach that right hand around to take the inner left wrist. If not, just press the backs of the hands towards each other. And then we're going to lift the elbows, roll the shoulder heads back and down, and press the hands away from the face. Close the eyes once you're inhabiting the pose. Notice where you feel the breath differently as your body makes these different shapes. Refining that awareness. Directing attention. And then release arms down by your sides. And let's take a couple of shoulder rolls. Oh, yes, I can feel that that's certainly been loosening some sticky bits up. Let's take a baby camel. You're going to walk your hands back behind you. Lean into your palms. Press down as you lift your chest up to the sky. Keep your chin slightly tucked if there's any neck issues. If your neck is fine, you might start to lift your chin towards the sky and slowly take your head back as far as feels comfortable. And to come out of this, if you've got your head is going to come up last. You're going to roll the weight on your hands towards the base of your fingers and then onto your fingers. So you're just getting that little gentle massage across the hands up to fingertips, and then finally lower your chin slowly towards your chest. And let's take a little wrist release while we're here. Turn your palms away from you in front of the knees and start to lean into your hands, so we're opening up the insides of the wrists. You might feel quite a strong sensation as you get a little stretch of that nerve pathway through the carpal tunnel. Again, just working with sensible level of sensation. And when your body says enough, that's enough. And slowly come out of that, and we'll just spin the fingers around and reverse that, so we lean then into the backs of the wrists. And that's a really nice release if you spend a lot of time at a computer, as most of us do these days. Okay, plant the hands. If you're sitting on the cushion, let's get rid of that, and I'm going to come back into tabletop position. And let's take a wiggly cat. So we are just going to explore joyful movement here. There is no right or wrong. You are just going to move however feels good. So you might be barreling your chest around, you might be drawing some sort of pattern with your belly button, as though there was a pencil in it and you were drawing on the mat. Being really fluid, being exploratory, being creative. It's a rare day when I don't do this, and oh my goodness, it is such a nice thing for your shoulders, for your back, for your hips. Just delicious. Yummy. Okay, Now, bad news if it's cold weather, I'm afraid it's time to lose the socks. We are going to be going up into downward dog in a moment. So, pop those to one side. And let's tuck the toes under, press into the hands, fingers spread nice and wide. Look back towards your knees and then press into your hands and toes to start to lift your knees away from the mat. Pressing your chest between your arms, knees quite bent at first, and then gradually start to extend your heels towards the mat. Maybe pedaling through your feet. And then extending both heels down. Reaching the hips back, bowing the chest. Back of the neck long. Letting your spine have that lovely mild inversion. And then from here, I'm going to keep the feet exactly where they are and just wriggle the hands a little bit wider and grab the edges of your sticky mat so that you can then bow your chest right down between your arms, really flossing into that upper back. Maybe shake your head out, yes and no. And then drawing the chest back up a little bit and bringing your hands back to standard down dog. So we're not now lowering the ribs towards the mat, we're finding a nice long line. From here, I'm going to take the right leg up to the sky as we inhale, reaching that leg long, 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 and then bend the knee, open up the hip, feel that lovely release across the right hip flexor. Keep your right armpit in the same plane as the left one, and then inhale, straighten the leg, square off the hips. And we're going to bring that right knee in towards the chest as we rock forward to a three-leg plank and step that foot through and come down to the left knee. Point the left toe and pop up onto your fingertips, or if that's a bit of a challenge, you can bring that cushion in front of you and rest fingertips on there. And let's just explore here in this first phase of Anjaneyasana, low lunge. If you're quite open in the hip flexors, you might like to play with just lifting that left kneecap away from the mat a little bit, just massaging there. And then let's bring the right hand and the left hand to the top of the right knee, or just above the right knee, and then lift yourself up a little bit so that your hips are stacking over that back knee. Let's find a little lift of the pelvic bowl here, so we don't want to be pitching forward. And then keeping that lift, and start to sink the hips forward, only as far as you can keep that pelvis from spilling forwards. Engage your left glutes. And then when you've found the right place for your body to be, I'm going to sweep that left arm up to the sky. Oh, feeling all that lovely opening across the front body. And then you might stay here if you're feeling stable. You're going to lift that right arm up to meet the left. Maybe palms come together, maybe you look up to the palms. Breathing steady. And then back up out of that hip flexor stretch a little bit. So you're going to press into that right foot just to shift your hips back towards the left heel a bit. And open up your arms wide, 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 reaching back, 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 back to come all the way back down to the mat. Fingertips to the mat. And we're going to rock onto that left knee and the right heel coming into our Ardha Hanumanasana, half split. Flex that right foot. Exhale, bend your elbows to lean towards that right shin. Think about long spine. Think heart towards foot rather than head towards knee. Just saying a little hello to the hips so they don't feel left out. Hello to the hamstring. Smooth, even breath. Just a couple more breaths here. Just saying hello to the lower body. And then rock forward onto that right foot. Hands frame the foot, tuck the back toes under, lift the knee. Inhale, step back to plank. Exhale, knees to the mat, elbows hug the waist, coming all the way down to the belly. Point the toes, roll the shoulder heads up and back. Inhale, little baby cobra. Exhale, lower. Inhale up to all fours. Exhale, downward facing dog. Couple breaths in down dog, pressing into the hands to shift weight back into the legs. Rolling your armpits towards your face so you're broadening across the shoulder girdle. And then inhale, left leg goes high. Reaching long, long, long. Exhale, bend the knee, open up the hip. Notice if that left armpit has elevated, can you draw it back down towards the mat? Inhale, straighten the leg. And exhale, stepping through. Drop the back knee down, point the toe, coming up onto fingertips. Drawing the chest through the upper arms and breathing smoothly. Perhaps you start to play with lifting the back knee just a fraction away from the mat, only if that feels sensible for your hip flexors. And then left hand to knee, or just above the knee, right hand joins it. And pressing into that thigh as we shift the hips back over the right knee. Find that lovely lift of the pelvis and keeping all of that lift, then recommitting into that lunge. Engage the right glute. Inhale, sweep the right arm up for that glorious front body opening. And then you might stay here, or you might take left arm up as well, maybe palms come together. And inhaling to open all the way up, circling slowly down. Fingertips frame the front foot. Exhaling. And then inhale, shifting back to our half split. And exhale, softening down. Front foot is flexed. Spine long over the shin. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, walk the hands forwards. Tuck the back toes. Inhale, back to plank. Exhale, lower down. Knees can come down first, or you can come down in one long body down to chaturanga and all the way to the mat. Point the toes. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale down. Inhale, fours. And exhale, back to downward facing dog. Let's just take a couple of breaths in down dog. And then step the right shin forwards, left shin on top, and roll back to sit. I'm going to take the legs out long. I'm going to turn to face you. We're going to bring the legs out wide and long. And then bend that right knee. Bring it in towards the groin. Left arm alongside or on top of the left leg. I'm going to open up that right arm like a book and then lean into that lovely side stretch. And then bend your right elbow, bring the hand behind the head and press the back of your head into your hand so you're opening up the chest. And that feels good. You can stay here, or if you want to re-straighten that right arm and lean a little more deeply into that side release, you can do that. You might slide that left forearm down to the mat, to the inside of the left leg. Let your head be wherever feels comfortable. And keep that lifting of the right side of the chest up to the sky. One more breath here. Inhale, come all the way up. I'm going to plant that right hand to the mat, sweep the left arm across in front and roll onto the right shin, point the left foot and open it up into side plank variation, or what I like to think of as flash dance, and then lean it back, let it feel glorious, feeling all that lovely side body opening. Let the head hang. Exhale, rolling back down. And let's take that to the other side. Left heel comes in, right leg extends. Right forearm to thigh. And then open up that left arm with the pages of a book. And lean over to your right. So we're not crunching into that side waist, we're staying long. So we lean over. Bend the elbow, hand behind the head. Using that pressure of your back of your head into your hand to encourage the opening up of the chest. And then perhaps staying here, or maybe reaching that top arm long again and perhaps sliding forearm to the inside of the extended leg. One more breath. Inhale, come all the way up. behind you. And inhale, sweep that right arm around, rolling onto the left shin, opening it up. Flash dance, what a feeling. Exhale, reversing out. And then let's bring that left foot to meet the right, and we'll take a seated forward fold. Slowing it down now for our final few postures. Bend your knees slightly, flex your feet, and you can either hold onto the back of the thighs, or you can slide your hands down towards the shins. We're going to inhale, lift the chest, exhale and lay the lower belly and ribs on the thighs. Maybe you reach the feet, and this might be where you stay, or if you want to work deeper, you can start to push the heels away from you as far as you can keep that torso in connection with the thighs. Deep inhale, sigh it out. And soften into your Paschimottanasana, your forward fold. Let the face be soft, release any tension in your jaw, no clenching teeth. Notice how forward folds have these calming effect on your nervous system. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale here. And then inhale all the way back up to sit. Grab hold of your cushion. We're going to lie back and you'll want the cushion in a minute. Socks can go back on now if you'd like them. And we're going to lie back. Let's just take a nice simple twist. Draw the right knee into your chest. Give it a hug. And then take the right arm out wide and use that left hand to draw the leg, exhaling across your body. And maybe your head turns to look towards the right hand. The end of your next exhale, lightly draw your lower belly in and ride the wave of the inhale back to center. Extend that leg and switch sides, draw the left knee in, give it a hug, left arm out wide and draw that knee across the body. Maybe head turning to look at the left hand. End of your exhale, find that little drawing in of the lower belly. And then inhale, come back to center. Stretch your legs out long and let's get the cushion for our final pose. So just press yourself up so that you can slide the cushion underneath your back. So we want the bottom edge of the cushion in line with your waist. And then you're going to drape yourself back in a luxurious fashion over that cushion. And from here, it's yours. What feels nice? Now, I like to bring my heels close to my body and let my knees fall out wide, Supta Baddha Konasana. You might prefer to keep your legs straight. You might like to take your hands onto your belly, or one hand on your belly, one on your chest, or you might like to reach them up overhead. And particularly if you're practicing in the morning, I like this arms overhead feel. It's a nice uplifting, energizing, and yet relaxing start to the day. And settle in, feeling whichever option you've chosen, how that gentle lift and expansion of your chest lets you breathe more easily into that part of your body. As you inhale, and feel as though your nipples are moving in a sort of 10 to 2 direction, up and out towards your shoulders. Any time that you feel a little low in mood, a little low in energy, this can be a wonderfully restoring and gently uplifting posture to come to. Just gently supporting underneath the shoulder blades and the upper back with a nice soft prop to allow some opening across the chest. Now, if you are practicing in the morning and you're blissfully comfy here, you can take your final relaxation here. If you're practicing in the evening, I would suggest now is a good time to roll off the cushion. So roll into one side and slide that away from you, and coming into a simple Shavasana. So just allowing an evening energy, that's when you're practicing, to return to the body. So that uplifting feel can be balanced with a deep relaxation of Shavasana. And whichever option you've taken, have a sense now of giving the weight of your body to the support beneath you. As though you were lying in warm sand, and your body making that body-shaped divot in that warm sand.
Releasing any conscious control of breath now, and letting your breath return to its natural, restful rate. Letting all remaining tension drain away into the earth beneath you. And I'll guide you out of your Shavasana in a few minutes' time. I'll fall silent for a few minutes. And you simply take rest.
If you would like to stay longer in Shavasana, of course, stay as long as you have time for. If it's time for you to emerge, start to make your inhales a little bit deeper. And find some movement through your fingers and toes, wrists and ankles. Start to reach into arms and legs and letting that expand into a full body stretch like you're waking up again in the morning. And then perhaps hug your knees into your chest, give yourself a squeeze. And when you feel ready, roll to one side. And letting your head be heavy, lazily bring yourself back up to a seated position. Let your head come up last. If it's meaningful to you, bring your hands into Anjali Mudra, the heart center, palms together. And taking a moment to thank yourself for making time to reconnect with yourself, making time for our shared practice of yoga. Thank you for practicing with me. Namaste.